Welcome to A Course in Miracles, Living the Love, Walking the Talk with Reverend Jennifer Hadley.
Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. Ah, my name is Jennifer Hadley, and I love A Course in Miracles. I love the truth. I do, I do, I do. And I'm so glad we found a way to transcend time and space in order to join together for our awakening. Yes, we found it. We found each other. Yay, God. All right, let's begin with a prayer and a blessing. I am so grateful to place my hand on my heart, grateful and thankful to open ourselves to unlimited, unprecedented love, joy, peace, harmony, wisdom, clarity. We're so grateful for the all good of God flowing in our heart, in our mind. The power of love is within our mind. Taking this breath of gratitude, focusing on love, rising up above the battlefield, we rejoice to remember the power of God, the power of love, the power of peace and joy and freedom, wisdom and clarity, wholeness, beauty, creativity, all of these spiritual qualities. So powerful, so vibrant, so much our true identity, our true nature. Yes, we are powered by DI, divine intelligence, not AI, but DI, divine intelligence. And we are accepting the kingdom is pre-installed, it's within us, it's activated now, and we are living from this holiness, blessing the world with our holiness. We share the benefits with everyone everywhere because we are one with them. We let it be, and so it is. Amen. 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 Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so today we are going to look at lesson 152, which is entitled The Power of Decision is My Own. And here's the thing. I've been talking with a lot of folks lately who are dealing with fear and worry and doubt and depression. And to some people, the world is going to hell in a handbasket, and they're very concerned about it. And I totally understand that, totally get that 100%. And what I can say too is that there is a divine opportunity for us to bring the darkness to the light. Because when we are of that perception, that opinion, that belief that there is a force for darkness operating in the world, then we are not aligned with truth. And believe me, it's I've no judgment, no criticism for all those who are thinking that there is a power of darkness in the world. I get it. I have compassion for it. And what I know is that the truth does set us free, because the truth breaks the spell of the illusion of the delusion. And that is the decision that we can make. The power of decision is my own. So let us decide each and every day. I'm interested in the truth more than any story, any perception, any projection. Now, these teachings of A Course in Miracles are a fast track to peace, to harmony, to really living a productive, harmonious life. And they are confrontive and challenging to the mind, to the ego identified person. Certainly, nothing in my life has confronted me more than A Course in Miracles. Nothing has confronted me more in my life than A Course in Miracles, because A Course in Miracles is truth. And in the text, in the workbook, in the manual for teachers, and all the other aspects of it, over and over again, the truth said many, many, many different ways, the very same truths said over and over and over again. Sometimes people call them concepts, and they're not concepts. Truth is not a concept, but I understand why people call it concepts, because that's how they perceive it, as a concept. People will say, oh, past life, that's a concept. Well, if you know it's the truth, it's not a concept. And I remember, I may have mentioned this once a long time ago. I was working on a project with some people. I used to work in I used to work with people's finances, company finances. I did bookkeeping. I did lots of different things along the way to be able to support myself while I was training to become a science of mind practitioner, to become a minister, and when I was a playwright, and all of these many years of my life, I was supporting myself by doing consulting, other things, and whatever I could do to get by in order to have more time for my passion, which is God. And so I remember once in an office, somebody said to me, they said, oh, what are you studying? I said, oh, I'm studying to be a minister. And they said, oh, well, what is it that you believe about God? And I said, well, I don't believe God is an old man in the sky who has favorites and punishes people and thinks this one's a sinner and that one's a sinner. That's not my belief. I believe all is one, and that we're all connected, and that everything is born of love, God's infinite love for all. And I said, what do you believe? And he said, oh, yeah, I believe the old man in the sky who is judgmental. I was like, cool. I'm not going to talk somebody out of their beliefs unless they're coming to me for that level of assistance. So I can be very respectful of other people's religions and their beliefs and all of that. So, but I am very interested in the truth, and in conversation with folks, I will say, I remember once saying to someone, I believe, and I don't remember what the thing I said I believed was, but it was something about maybe reincarnation or angels or something like that. And then after I said it, I realized, I really wasn't telling the truth there. So I said, I'm going to correct myself. I don't believe those things. I know them to be true. So I was saying I believe to this person because I didn't wish to be confrontational to their way of thinking by saying, I know this to be true. But then Spirit tapped me and said to me, they can handle it. Tell them you know it to be true. So I did. So I used to have that energy of wanting to proselytize in a way that I would argue with people. I used to love to argue with people, and I don't have any interest in arguing with anyone about anything ever again. And it's been a long time since I was in an argument. Sometimes people will try to pick an argument with me, and I don't mind. I don't mind, because I see myself in them. And yeah, better to pick an argument with me than someone who will be offended or hurt or angry or mean. So yeah. Anyway, not interested in arguing. The power of decision is my own. No one can suffer loss unless it be his own decision. Ooh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Oh my goodness. Right in your face. No one can suffer loss unless it be his own decision. So, one of the thoughts I have when I read that is like, okay, Jesus, tell that to the mother who just lost her child. Tell that to the person that just lost 10 members of their family in an earthquake but you see, that's the thing is you wouldn't say that to someone who's just suffered a loss because that would be cruel. That would be cruel. But it's helpful to me to know I cannot suffer a loss except by the power of my own decision. So I have definitely experienced what felt like loss many times in my life. Of course, I have. Don't need to make a list of them right now. So, how could it be my own decision? Let's dig a little deeper here. No one suffers pain except his choice elects the state for him. No one can grieve nor fear nor think him sick unless these are the outcomes that he wants. And no one dies without his own consent. Nothing occurs but represents your wish, and nothing is omitted that you choose. Here is your world, complete in all details. Here is its whole reality for you, and it is only here salvation is. You may believe that this position is extreme and too inclusive to be true. Yet, can truth have exceptions? If you have the gift of everything, can loss be real? Can pain be part of peace or grief or joy? Can pain be part of peace or grief of joy? Can fear and sickness enter in a mind where love and perfect holiness abide? Truth must be all inclusive, if it be the truth at all. Accept no opposites and no exceptions, for to do so is to contradict the truth entirely. So, and then it goes on to say, salvation is the recognition that the truth is true and nothing else is true. And so that statement, the truth is true and nothing else is true, or only the truth is true, and the truth is the truth for everyone, everywhere, all of the time. It never changes. Truth never changes. Opinions do, perceptions do, beliefs do, but the truth never changes. That's how you know it's true. So here's a quick way that was very, very helpful to me when I first started to work with this truth, that the truth is true and only the truth is true all of the time. When I first started to work with that, it was deeply and profoundly healing to my mind because I desired, I needed to get it. I just knew I need to get this. Only the truth is true. And the truth is liberation. The truth is our freedom. That's where we find freedom. It's in our mind when we make a decision for the truth. So, for instance, back in 2008, I started my Finding Freedom from Fear boot camp class. It had a different name initially. It was Finding Family Freedom, then Finding Freedom, then Finding Freedom from Fear. As I became clear about what exactly it was about and became clearer in my own mind. The name changed a little, but finding freedom from fear can only be done through valuing the truth and letting go of that which has no value. And so that is a training for the mind. And that's why people who really live A Course in Miracles and apply these teachings and are interested in the truth have profound healing and awakening. I think about this every day, because every day I am so grateful that I am not afraid anymore. I'm so grateful. I never imagined that was possible. I thought I could reduce the pain and suffering in my life. I didn't know I could eliminate it. I really didn't know that. I did not believe that because I didn't see people who had eliminated it. I really didn't. This is, it's, we, part of the truth is we're not a victim, right? We have to accept I'm never a victim, but I can always make the choice to think that I am. But I will never, ever be a victim. No one can suffer loss unless it be their own decision, his own decision. No one suffers pain except his choice elects the state for him. You know, I'd kind of like to rewrite it sometimes. No one can suffer loss unless it be their own decision. No one suffers pain except their choice elects this state for them. No one can grieve, nor fear, nor think themselves sick unless these are the outcomes that they want. So just changing those pronouns there from always being masculine. No one suffers pain except their choice elects this state for them. So pain is a wrong perspective. A, it's the perspective of separation. B, it's separation as exemplified by I think I'm a body. So pain is a wrong perspective. We don't have to figure out how to change our perspective. We just have to be willing. Now, no one dies without his own consent. No one dies without his own consent. Challenging to understand. When you have, well, in our country, the United States, when every day there are mass shootings now, every day. We don't hear about a lot of them because it's only 3 or 4 people, 2 people or something like that. We don't hear about those, but it's every day. They're happening every day, these things. And there's so much in the news, good news that we never hear about, and so much horrible news that we don't hear about either. And so we look at my friend's nephew was wounded in a school shooting. Fortunately, he was, it was not a terrible wound, and he was able to have surgery, correct, you know, and he's recovering. But there was a major school shooting that happened recently, and he was shot. We think, oh, why would I choose that? Why would I choose that? To me, to a large degree, trying to figure out why is a bit of a fool's errand. Do I need to know why? Is that helpful to me? So that's what I do. That's how I work with that. When my mind is confronted with how I'm seeing what's going on in the world, and it feels challenging, difficult, I don't like it, I don't want it, an aversion to what I'm witnessing. And all I want to do is blame it on other people. All I want to do is say, they're doing this to the world, they're doing this to me. When that stuff would come into my mind like that, because it doesn't feel that way anymore at all to me. Little bits, little splinters still being healed. I learned to work with it in this way, that I've given everything all the meaning in the world that it has for me, right where A Course in Miracles begins. So no one dies without his own consent. So all the children, you think, well, how can a child decide? Well, a child is an infinite, eternal spiritual being who has been here many lifetimes, has gathered a lot of experience, and in their consciousness, in their spirit, they made that consent. And I would say for the greater good. Is it a sacrifice? I don't think it's a sacrifice. Seriously. I honestly don't think, if I was in a situation where I could save a child by throwing my body in front of them, I think I would do that, but maybe in the moment it would not be the thing for me to do. But let's say it were, and I threw myself in front of a thing to protect a child. The child was saved, and my body died. I shuffled off the mortal coil. Would I think of it as a sacrifice? I would not. I would honestly think of it as being somehow, some way, perfect divine order. And I wouldn't want people to think of it as a sacrifice. That's where I am right now. So you may believe that this position is extreme and too inclusive to be true. Yet, can truth have exceptions? So going back to what I was sharing just a little bit ago about my practice that was so helpful and healing to me for years, when I was working with my mind to accept the truth is true and only the truth is true. I had this intuition that it would, if I was willing to do the work, this would be my liberation from suffering. I had that intuition. I had that feeling, that understanding. So that was my motivation, because I was tired of suffering. I really was. I just like, oh, get me the F out of here with this suffering, not out of the planet. No, because I came here to do stuff and I'm going to do it, whatever it is, to be revealed. But I knew the number one thing I came to do was to awaken and to be helpful, to be truly helpful. So I knew that before I found A Course in Miracles and the truly helpful prayer. By the way, I've got a workshop coming up this month on Sunday. I think it's the 21st. Staying grounded in love no matter what. Staying grounded in love no matter what. That is coming. Powerofloveministry.net for the details. So I would say to myself, when I had an idea that someone was unworthy of love, whether it was me or somebody else, when I had the idea that I wasn't good enough or someone else wasn't good enough, or that I should be punished or somebody else should be punished, I would think, okay, wait a minute. If the truth is true for everyone, then I think Michael Beckwith, who I was going to Agape at the time. He was one of my teachers at the time. So should he be punished? Should he be punished? Should the Dalai Lama be punished? Is the Dalai Lama unworthy of love? Is Michael Beckwith unworthy of love? Is Mother Teresa unworthy of love? Because if anyone is unworthy of love, then everyone's unworthy of love. Because we are not the things we do, we are not the things we think, but we are experiencing the things we think, and we do tend to believe We are the things we think. So if we think mean, unkind thoughts about ourselves or anyone else, if we are judgmental, if we are complaining and critical and attacking, as most people are, then we will absolutely feel unworthy of love, and we will look to hold ourselves back, right? So we don't feel free, and we don't feel expansive. We don't feel prosperous. We don't feel well. If we are being unloving and unkind in our mind to ourselves or anyone else, then we are not going to feel generous with other people. We are not going to feel patient, really, and kind. We are going to feel worried and afraid. The immediate outcome of judging anyone for any reason, including ourselves, is fear. Why? The judgment is born of a belief in separation, and that is a fear-based thought, and fear invested in, fear amplified with a judgment, with a complaint, is going to bring more fear. It's not hard to understand that, but we reject it even though it's the truth. Truth doesn't have any exceptions, but we make exceptions all the time. So God has given us everything, and yet we feel we're lacking. Why do we feel we're lacking? Because we don't feel worthy. Why don't we feel worthy? Because we're being unloving. All right, time for me to take a break. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So I have a favor to ask you. If you have been listening to a few episodes of this podcast and you feel it's for you, then please subscribe. Please write a review, if you would. Write a 5-star review. I appreciate it. It just helps more people to find the podcast. And let me tell you, I read your reviews and I appreciate them. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's go to a break. I'll be right back.
Thank you for tuning in for A Course in Miracles, Living the Love, Walking the Talk.
Welcome back. Welcome back. So we're talking about the power of decision. We're talking about valuing the truth. We are talking about recognizing that it's our choice. It's hard. It's hard. And it's a mystery. It's hard to understand. It's hard to accept. So for me, when it feels hard, I don't force it. I let it be. I acknowledge this feels hard to me. This feels really difficult. I don't know that I can do this, but I am willing to turn it over to spirit and let it unfold with ease and grace. I am willing for that to occur because I am willing to live without suffering. I am willing to learn through joy. I am willing to be at peace and to be peaceful. I am willing to surrender all the judgments, the opinions, everything that I've been holding on to that's not the truth. So when we truly become willing to hold on to only the truth and let go of the false, then what happens is we finally can be peaceful, we finally can be happy. But until we make that decision and choice, it doesn't seem possible. So there's the paradox. Now it says you may believe that this position, the position that you can't experience anything in this lifetime that you didn't wish for. You may believe that this position is extreme and too inclusive, meaning it doesn't exclude anything, too inclusive to be true. Yet, can truth have exceptions? No. We're making no exceptions. Everything works together for good, and there are no exceptions. That has been so helpful to me. Oh, Jennifer, look at you. This is upsetting to you. So you must think that it's not working for you. You must think it's not helpful. Therefore, you're making exceptions to the truth. Everything is helpful. Everything works together for good. You're making an exception. You don't have to. That's your choice. Making the exception makes you miserable. Misery is your choice. So let's just back away, back away, back away, back away from deciding that it's not good, deciding that it shouldn't be, deciding that you don't like it. Because if it works for your good, why don't you like it? And still, I will allow myself not to like what I don't like, right? So there's a dichotomy there, obviously. But the way I work with it is this. Okay, this experience I'm having right now, not enjoying it, don't like it. I'd like it for it to be over. I was telling a friend recently that when I was going through the move from Vermont to the main house, and the move just felt like hell. It just felt like hell. It felt like it would never end. It just felt painful because I was working from 6 o'clock in the morning till midnight, day after day after day. I got a terrible cold. I didn't feel well. I still had all my classes to teach and all the work to do and the blogs to write and everything else. And it just felt so hard. It felt there was just too much work for me to do. And even though I extended a few days, it was not enough. I still had to just keep working, 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 working. And I had good help, but it just was too darn much. And I didn't know how much it was until I really got into it. And I didn't like that feeling. I felt trapped. So here's how I worked with it in my mind. In my mind, I projected myself into the future in this way. I said, there's going to come a moment when this is completely over. And I'm just going to go to that moment now and feel the peace of that moment now. Feel the harmony and the God and the truth in that moment now, because there's only now. And it really did help me to relax my mind. So the peace that I perceive in the future when the move is done, that peace is available to me now. And in the eternal now, the move is over. It's over. It's done. It's not continuing. It worked for me. Try it. Maybe you'll like it. So you have the gift of everything. Can loss be real? If you have the gift of everything and it can't be taken away from you, can loss be real? So there's a place where we can tell ourselves the truth, and it's very helpful. It is life-changing. It is healing to the mind. So I used to say all the time, what is mine, and ever shall it be so. And so what's mine cannot be taken from me. What's mine can never be lost. Things cannot be lost because there's only the mind of God. Where can it go? If there's only the mind of God, how can I lose things? Now it looks like I can lose my keys, looks like I could lose my life, it looks like I could lose the money, the whatever, the stuff of this world. But the stuff of this world is not truly valuable. And if we're willing, we will see and understand that. Truly, willingness is all that's required. So it says, can pain be a part of peace or grief or joy? We have the gift of everything, which is peace and joy. So can pain be a part of peace? Is there grief in joy? No. The answer is no. So that's why it's up to us not to choose pain, not to choose grief. And if we do choose pain, if we do choose grief, it's not a sin, it's not a crime, it's just an experience. That's all that it is. Can fear and sickness enter in a mind where love and perfect holiness abide? Truth must be all inclusive, if it be truth at all inclusive. So, you know what that makes me think of? Have you ever been to an all inclusive resort? I've been to a couple of them, and I did a retreat at one, and it's nice. You wear the bracelet, everything's included, your drinks, your food, your whatever you need, all that stuff is included. And it's nice. You pay one fee and then you don't have to bring your wallet and your purse with you. You just wear your bracelet. Truth must be all inclusive, if it be truth at all. So we got the truth bracelet in our heart, and it's all inclusive. So it includes every experience that we think we're having. Truth and holiness abide right where we are. Accept no opposites and no exceptions, for to do so is to contradict the truth entirely. So that's the thing. That's where we go off the rails is, and we contradict truth, is we think that, oh boy, this is not good. Oh boy, this is not what I want. Oh boy, I don't like this. Oh boy, it should be different. So that's where we go wrong. That's where we go wrong. And again, it's not a crime. It's not a sin. It's just a choice. And because we made the choice to go in the wrong direction, we can just as easily turn around and go the other way to the place of peace. Salvation is the recognition that the truth is true and nothing else is true. This you have heard before, but may not yet accept both parts of it. Without the first, the second has no meaning. The truth is true and nothing else is true. The truth is true and nothing else is true. The truth is true and nothing else is true. No story I made up is true. So, for instance, if I say that I'm not good enough or someone else is, then since the truth applies to everyone all the time because of the oneness and unity of all life, then I must be saying that no one is good enough. No one is good enough. And since we're all of God, that means God hasn't made anyone who's good enough for God's love. Of course, that's insane. So truth cannot have an opposite. This cannot be too often said and thought about. For if what is not true is true, as well as what is true, then part of truth is false, and truth has lost its meaning. Nothing but the truth is true. What is false is false. Nothing but the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So I'm accepting the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Again, our willingness is all that's required. And in class the other day, we were having a similar discussion, and I remembered the phrase that I used to hear in church at Agape. Agape doesn't call itself a church, but I called it church. And people would say, tell the truth and shame the devil. Tell the truth and shame the devil. So tell the truth, and the devil, meaning the ego, will take a back seat. The ego will be put down, quieted. That's the idea. So cling to the truth, because the truth sets us free. Liberation is everything. Freedom is everything. When we are free to love, when we are free to laugh, when we are free to walk in peace, when we are free to be patient, when we are free to be creative, and to be in the flow of wisdom. And we're free of all unforgiveness, all resentments, all regrets. When we're at that level of freedom, why would you value for 1 second that which is false? So the only reason we value the false is we don't believe that there is such a thing as the truth that would set us free from the false. But it's there, and it's there for us when we choose it. The truth has lost its meaning. Nothing but the truth is true. So, actually, I'm going to back up here. This cannot be too often said and thought about. Truth has no opposite. For what is true, as well as what is true, then part of truth is false. For if what is not true is true, as well as what is true, then part of truth is false, and truth has lost its meaning. Nothing but the truth is true, and what is false is false. This is the simplest of distinctions, yet the most obscure, but not because it is a difficult distinction to perceive. It is concealed behind a vast array of choices that do not appear to be entirely your own. And thus the truth appears to have some aspects that belie consistency, but do not seem to be but contradictions introduced by you. So let's move out of contradictions. And that's the whole thing with the ego is we are as God created us. We are unchangeable. We are infinite spirit. We are true intelligence. And no matter what we feel, what we think, what we experience, we are still as God created us. No matter what harm has come to us, no matter if we have, we're manic depressive or we're depressive, or if we're struggling with bipolar or PTSD, no matter what is going on with us mentally and emotionally. If we have split personality, if we're locked in a cage, no matter what, we are as God created us. We are innocent. We are holy. We are perfect. And when we're willing to see that everyone else is as well, and that there are no victims in this world, that we are responsible for what we see and what we feel, and we're all inclusive in our mind, that everything works together for good. We're all part of the one life of God. When we're willing to see that, then we will see it. Reminds me of something I heard Michael Beckwith say, and I think it's very helpful. And I quote it from time to time. I don't think I've said it in months, if not this year even. When you believe more in what you don't see than what you do see, then you will see what you don't see, and you won't see what you do see. Simple, right? When you believe more in what you don't see, in the invisible, than what you do see, the visible, when you believe more in what you don't see than what you do see, then you will see what you don't see, and you won't see what you do see. And I am now remembering, I just said it the other day. When you believe more in what you don't see than what you do see, then you will see what you don't see, and you won't see what you do see. Yes. Okay, so taking responsibility for what we see is critical. That's the path of happiness. Taking responsibility without any blame. That's how we do it. That's how we roll as Course in Miracles students. And realizing that no matter what's happened to us, no matter what we've experienced, no matter what we've done, our innocence is intact. These are truths. The truth sets us free. What does it set us free from? It sets us free from judgments, opinions, guilt, shame, regret, resentment, hurt, anger, fear, doubt, worry. Such a load it lifts off of us. That's the nature of the truth. It is so liberating. So it's all inclusive. And I'm grateful that we can always go back to the truth and value the truth. And I think it's so important to do that all the time, all the time. And the truth is, we are one with everyone forever. And there's no escaping that. Our magnificence and innocence are ours forever. But we do have to give up our judgments, our complaints, our belief in sin in order to know it, recognize it, understand it, tap into it, and experience it. So that's where our willingness goes. It goes to where the rubber meets the road, and we're making those decisions. So that's why Spirit pointed me to the power of decision is my own. Lesson 152. So let me just pause for a moment of gratitude for the truth. Yes, I'm very, very grateful for the truth. I'm grateful that we can live by the light of the truth, and that we can share and extend the truth to our brothers and sisters. So let's do that right here, right now. Finding freedom in our hearts and in our minds where it's been all along. We are grateful to surrender any attachments to frightening ourselves into action. We are grateful to give up habits of a low vibration, negative habits, and habits that do not light us up from the inside. We are willing to remember and value the truth, and to anchor into it as a way of dispelling the darkness. We share the benefits with everyone, everywhere, because we're one with them. We let it be, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you.